So now that we know kind of the colors we're going to use, in order to even apply these, we have to adjust our HTML on our page in order to make it work better. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna format my Navbar HTML first, and then we'll format the other ones as well, because that'll make it easier in order to apply CSS to it if the actual HTML is more correct, either by adding or removing elements. So I had dragged that folder in here, so I'm just gonna pull this bar over, and you'll see it'll pop open. Yours might still be open. I'm just gonna click on the index here. And then I'm just going to click and drag that bar back over, and then that will be out of the way again. And now you can see I have my 2 tabs here. And these are the only 2 tabs I really need. Okay, so if I zoom out here, you can see, okay, that, we have our heading here, and then this part right here that says nav bar, this is my nav section, and then there's the carousel section. Okay, so I'm just going to work on this top section here. So first thing I want to do is I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. Is right where it says nav class navbar expand, and then you'll notice it has navbar light and BG light. Okay, what those are for is that when we look at the site, you're going to see that it's white. So that's what it means, or a really light gray, right? So you can tell it's not quite white, but it's almost white. That's light. If you were to do instead dark, and dark, and we'll save it and refresh it, you're going to see it does a dark style. So basically, there's 2 flavors that it comes with, and one's light and the other is dark. So if you want to just do light or dark, you could totally just leave those and just use one or the other, and that's fine. However, if we want to put our own color in there or do our own thing with it, what we want to do is just remove those 2. And the idea here is, most of what we're going to do right now is about trying to remove some of the bootstrap formatting so that we can apply our own. Because otherwise what ends up happening is that if that background light was still there, even if we put a color, it's going to compete with it because that's also trying to format it. Even though ours should supersede, you have to write just the right CSS rule to target it. And so it's harder to compete with it. But by removing it, we're removing that formatting aspect, and it should make it a little bit easier to put our stuff in. Okay. Next was this Nav Bar Branding thing, and that's this thing right here. So if you wanted to get rid of it, you could just remove this thing here. Actually, I think it's, oh yeah, just remove that. Okay. Then after that is this right here. So it says Navbar toggler icon. Okay. What that is this. If I were to collapse this guy, you're going to see this bar here. That's this. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so it's the hamburger. It's usually what I call it. But it's the typical menu thing that pops up, the symbol for menu that pops up when we are trying to use that. Now, we already linked our site last time to the Font Awesome. I'm just going to real quick go view toggle word wrap. To Font Awesome. So we have all of the icons from Font Awesome available to us. What I'm going to do here is that instead of using this span toggler icon, I'm going to use W3 Schools. Okay. I'm sorry, not W. I'm going to go to W3 Schools because that's where we're linking from, or that's where we got this from. But I'm going to use Font Awesome symbol instead of their built-in one. Okay. So this is going to come out and we're going to put something else in. So if you go to W3 Schools, come on. Can I scroll up or up? No? There it goes. Okay. If I go to W3 Schools, give it a second. Okay. You'll see Learn Icons. Okay, this is how we get there. So it's just w3schools.com. The letter or the number 3. And then if I scroll down on the left here, you'll see there's Font Awesome 4. And then what I want to do is I'm going to scroll down to Web Application because that's the section that I need. That's just a list of all of the different kinds. These are the categories of the icons. And if I scroll down, you'll see right here, fa bars. That's my menu bars. Okay. So all I'm going to do is go across here, click on try. It's going to pull open a new tab. Hopefully. And then you'll see it has these different formattings and it shows you what you're doing. Okay. So I just want the real basic peanut butter one here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with the mid-size we'll go with this one. So I'm just going to grab, now let's go with this one. We can scale it ourselves with our own CSS later. So I'm going to grab this one, just hit Control C. Okay. Then I'm going to go back to our thing, and I want to remove this span. And so we're going to delete that and then hit Control V. Now the reason why I'm removing it, so I'm going to go ahead and save this, and if you refresh it, you're not going to see it initially, but when I go like this, there it is. Okay. The reason why I'm replacing it, it might seem counterintuitive, but there's actually a reason behind it. It's the same reason why I took off the light and the dark coloring up here. By using Font Awesome is just that icon. There's no CSS really attached to it that's formatting it. If I left it as the spans toggler, whatever there, that has formatting applied, and I'd be competing with trying to format it. By making it the Font Awesome, it's actually easier for me to change the look of it if I were so to desire. Okay, so that's the reason behind that. All right, now underneath that, you will see we have an unordered list, and then in our list we have list items, and in that list items we have links. So this is actually our menu, and you can see each one says nav item, and then there's classes, so on and so forth. Okay. So if you look, you can actually see it says home, features, pricing, and drop-down link. So home, features, pricing, and drop-down link. Now you probably don't want this drop-down. Depending on, you also might have that search. You can remove that too. I'm just going to show you. So that is, the drop-down link is this whole section here. You can actually see it says drop-down. So I'm just going to grab that and remove it. And now I just have these elements in here. Okay. The other thing I want to remove is this. You'll notice that each one of them say nav link, but this one here, the home one, says active ARIA current page. What that is doing, I'm just going to save this and refresh here. What that is doing, well, you can't see it now, but it's actually going to, because I took off the black, or the light. If the light was still there, it would show up. This would actually be darker. It's formatting this a different color because this is currently active. I want to remove that just so that none of them stick out more than the other. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of the active class that's attached to this. And we're also going to get rid of this. That way it's the same for all of them. Okay. And if for some reason you need to add another page or another link, all you got to do is just grab one of these, just copy it and paste it. And then you would just change the name here. And then eventually you're going to change the URL too. But for right now, that's how you do. And if you want to remove them, you just grab it and you delete it. And that's how you just add and remove your items in your menu. So it should be relatively straightforward. That's all we really need to do as far as the HTML like adjustments on this one.